The ultimate betrayal. The courtroom was packed, every eye fixed on her, the woman I had loved, trusted, and built my life around. My chest tightened as my lawyer dropped the folder on the table. Photos, fake emails, doctored documents, evidence she had painstakingly created to destroy me. The crowd murmured, but all I could hear was my blood pounding in my ears. She smiled, a cruel, victorious smile, as if enjoying the ruins of my life. At that moment, something in me snapped. I would not just survive this. I would make her pay in a way she could never forget. It began months ago, in whispers and shadows. At first, it was subtle, my wife taking calls in private, disappearing at odd hours, avoiding eye contact. I brushed it off, convincing myself I was imagining things. But a nagging doubt clung to me like a shadow. One night, I returned home early, only to see her hastily minimizing a document on her laptop. "Just work," she said, her voice sharper than usual. Something about her eyes betrayed her, a mix of fear and anticipation. The first clue fell into my lap the following week, a series of emails between her and an unknown accomplice. They were careful, but not perfect. Each email was laced with lies meant to frame me. Fake financial transactions, fabricated messages to my colleagues, insinuations of infidelity. The magnitude of her betrayal hit me like a punch to the gut. I realized that she wasn't just lying. She was building a fortress of deceit around me, and the world would believe her if I did nothing. I spent the next few days watching her, observing patterns, tracking her communications without her knowledge. The more I discovered, the more my anger boiled. Every smile she wore around friends and family was a mask hiding her malicious intent. Every lie she whispered in private became a thread I could pull to unravel her entire plan. I knew that confronting her directly now would be foolish. She thrived on my reaction. I needed patience, precision, and patience. I created my own secret dossier, documenting everything. Screenshots, voice recordings, hidden cameras, every piece meticulously collected. I realized revenge would not be quick. It required time, strategy, and complete control. The plan slowly took shape in my mind. I would let her believe she had won, that I was crushed, cornered, and defeated. Then, when the time was right, I would turn her web of lies against her, exposing her to the people she trusted most. Every night, I replayed the humiliation I felt in that first encounter with her fake evidence. It became fuel for my obsession. The idea of crushing her arrogance, shattering the smug expression she wore when she thought she had me trapped, consumed me. I was no longer a man trying to salvage his reputation. I was a predator calculating the perfect strike. The more I learned, the more I saw the cracks in her confidence, the overconfidence in her plan. I would exploit every flaw. The moment to act would come at the height of her overconfidence, when she believed she had destroyed me. I let her send fake accusations, plant false evidence in front of colleagues, even whisper lies to our friends. Each act of her arrogance gave me more ammunition. I watched in silence, collecting proof, waiting for the perfect moment. The thrill of anticipation became intoxicating. I realized that revenge, when executed correctly, could be more satisfying than justice itself. By the end of this chapter, I had everything I needed. Every lie, every scheme documented, every manipulation accounted for. She believed she was untouchable, and that would be her greatest mistake. My revenge would not be simple. It would be surgical, leaving no part of her plan intact, no corner of deceit unexposed. The countdown had begun. Weeks passed, and the game became more dangerous. She escalated her attacks, sending fake messages to my clients, framing me in financial discrepancies, and planting rumors among our mutual acquaintances. Each time, I responded with calculated silence, letting her actions collapse under their own weight. I didn't just want to survive. I wanted her downfall to be total, undeniable, and public. I began feeding her schemes back to the people she trusted most. Every carefully constructed lie she created was reflected back with evidence she could not deny. Her closest allies started questioning her integrity. Friends whispered, colleagues hesitated, and her network of influence began to crack. She noticed the subtle shifts but dismissed them, convinced her plan was flawless. That overconfidence would be her undoing. Revenge demanded patience, and I became a master of it. Days blurred into nights as I analyzed her every move, setting traps she could not anticipate. I created fake leads, planted evidence she could intercept, and watched her fall for every bait. The tension was electric. Each day, she believed victory was hers. Each day, I inched closer to complete control. Her arrogance reached a peak when she attempted to publicly shame me at a high-profile event, hoping to humiliate me in front of my peers. I attended, outwardly calm, inwardly calculating. Hidden cameras, recorded confessions, and undeniable proof lay ready. When she stepped into the spotlight, her confidence radiating, I flipped the switch. Every accusation she planned to use against me was immediately reflected on the screens behind her, exposing the fabrications and lies. The crowd's reaction was explosive. The panic in her eyes was a sight I would never forget. She scrambled to explain, to defend herself, but the evidence was overwhelming. Her network of friends and allies watched as the truth emerged, piece by piece. I stood back, letting the chaos unfold, savoring every moment of her realization. She was not the victor, she was the defeated. By the end of the night, she was shattered, her reputation in ruins, her lies fully exposed. I walked away unscathed, but the hunger for revenge had left its mark on me. I had become someone consumed by the desire for retribution. Yet in this darkness, I found clarity. Betrayal has a price, and those who think they can manipulate the truth will ultimately pay for their arrogance. The final act was swift and merciless. Her attempts to regain control failed at every turn. I ensured that every contact she relied upon knew the truth, that every opportunity she had to salvage her image crumbled before she could grasp it. She tried to confront me privately, desperation in her voice, but I let her fall into the trap completely. Public humiliation was the final blow. I released every piece of fabricated evidence she had used against me, paired with undeniable proof of her deceit. The people who once admired her watched as her lies unraveled. She could not hide, could not manipulate, could not recover. Her downfall was total, irreversible, and precise. My revenge executed with meticulous accuracy. In that moment, I understood the cost of revenge. It consumes you, isolates you, and demands everything. But it also delivers clarity. I had ensured that she could never harm me again, that every attempt to ruin me had rebounded with devastating force. Her arrogance, her cruelty, and her deception had been dismantled completely. As I walked away from the wreckage of her schemes, I felt no pity, no regret, only the satisfaction of justice achieved on my terms. She had tried to destroy my life, and I had returned the favor in full measure. Revenge is not about healing or peace. It is about power, control, and retribution. And on that night, I held it all in my hands. Moral of the story: betrayal can be deadly, and when justice fails, revenge becomes the only language that ensures the guilty pay the price they deserve.